Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Sunday, January 6th, 2019. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about HAARP and some of the beaming. And I'm going to show you how you can recognize the evidence of beaming on NASA Worldview and give you some articles that you can check out for yourself, because I've had people ask, what do I mean by beaming and this and that, and there's tons of information about it on the internet, and I'm not going to do the research for everybody. You need to do it yourselves, but I can at least point you in some directions, and then we'll get into our earthquake report. We've got a lot of earthquakes today. So this is a picture that I took back in probably 2011. I'm thinking this was the summer of 2011 when I took this because of the location that I was at. And this is a HAARP ring. This is what it looks like when you're on the ground and looking up, and that once it's been burst, it's like a burst coming out, it's a cloud burst basically coming out in a circle, and you'll see these little wispy things coming out, and of course you're underneath looking at it, and it's going out all the way around. And this is a HAARP ring, and at least that's what I call it. And this one was huge, and it took up half the sky pretty much. But I found something interesting here. Of course, this is the sun behind the cloud there, and if you zoom in a little bit, you can actually see the ripples in the cloud here. So there's evidence of the beaming, and what I mean by beaming is it's frequencies, it's high frequencies that are being transmitted through the air, and the clouds are very light and sensitive and can take shapes depending on the type of frequencies that are going through the air. And I thought I saw some more over here. Yeah, there's a little bit right over here, but you can see the edge of the cloud bursting out, and it's like tendrils coming out around. So that's what a HAARP ring looks like when you're on the ground. It's really spooky when you see it, because it is totally not normal, and it's when you realize what it is and that it's from manipulation, you'll get a better appreciation of all of this. Now, on Robin Westenra's blog post, and I'll leave the link below, I did a search, and you just do a search by typing in whatever word or phrase you want up here, and then hit the magnifying glass, and it'll come up with all the articles that he has cataloged. And I did a search for the word HAARP, HAARP, and that stands for high frequency auroral something. I don't remember exactly, but that's you'll see it was a government project. So here's all the articles, and he recently has done a bunch of research into this, because I was showing him things on Worldview and saying that's from beaming. He says, what's that? And I'm like, you don't know? And he said, well, I've heard of HAARP. Is that what you're talking about? I said, yeah, it's HAARP, and it's other stuff too. And they have such sophisticated systems now that, I don't even know what they're called now. But Dane Wigington has a lot of good information on it. But I was showing him the clouds over Sicily when that earthquake near Mount Etna happened, and so he was very interested in that. And so here's some things about Mount Etna and everything. And then I took these pictures from over the Sicily area from December 22nd on NASA Worldview and pointed it out to him. I said, this is absolutely beaming that was done in that area. And so once I pointed it out to him, it was easy for him to see. And here it is, and here's Sicily, and Mount Etna's right there, and here's the beaming. Here's some more down here, some more down here, more over here, and here's over here, here, here. You can see the ripples, and this is what to look for. And here it is close up. And then here is another blog post that comes right after that. This is from December the 19th of 2018, and he researched Dane Wigington and reproduced Dane Wigington's article from May 8th of 2017 about frequencies and how they affect water. And then these are pictures from Dane Wigington's article at geoengineeringwatch.org of evidence of beaming. Now this is extreme, but you get the idea. These are all reproductions from that article, and look at how these are just weaving through the air. This is all from NASA Worldview. And too bad he didn't put the dates on these, or we could go back and see. And here it is where the clouds appeared over land, but you can see the evidence of the beaming with the ripples there. I see that a lot. Here it is in the air with the lines like that. And then he goes into great detail about Pacific moisture along the west coast and transmitters, and then he goes into the spraying. Of course, you're not supposed to call them chemtrails because chemtrails don't exist. There's aerosol stratosphere, whatever. And here's some more evidence of geoengineering. Here's another picture, and notice the 90-degree angles here, the right angles here. And I've seen that on NASA Worldview. So I will leave the link below, and then here's another article. China and Russia band together on controversial heating experiments to modify the atmosphere. This is a recent article that came out in December. And so it's not just the United States, it's all the countries with the technology, and they're all trying to control the weather and also to make earthquakes and to make volcanoes erupt and who knows what. So go back to look on also on the 50 years after how to wreck the environment. I did 2 videos on that, and this was all laid out in 1968, and here it is. This is my first video on that, and so anyway, it's all right here, This is, if you want to crash course in all of this and trying to wrap your mind around it, it's all right here in this one search results on Robin's blog, robinwestenra.blogspot.com, and it's everything right here. And then if you want to dig deeper, you can certainly do that. But there's that. And then, and Robin asks me, you know, we chat pretty much every day, and he says, well, have you seen anything unusual on NASA Worldview? And it's like, well, I could find something every day if I just dug hard enough. And so here we are from today, January 6th, and this is Italy. This is Sicily down here, and Mount Etna is having problems. Apparently I saw headlines about it sliding into the sea or something. So let's just zoom in and see if we can see evidence of this beaming now that we know what to look for. And we certainly can. Right here, see the ripples in the clouds right here and here, all the way across the island, and Etna is right over here underneath these clouds. And it's hard to see when it's really cloudy. You can't really see the ripples too good. It has to be just like a little bit of clouds, or wispy clouds helps. Hard to tell what's spraying and what's not spraying there. Sometimes it's easier to identify. And also when you come down here to Africa, see the ripples? So they're beaming in this whole area, and that's what gets me. It's not just a little bit here and there, and once you start looking and digging, it's all over the place. And look at this is so evident right here. Look at this cloud coming down like in this funnel shape, but look at the rings here and then rings over here. So they're doing a lot over there. Here's some more up here over France. The whole area, you can see the ripples. This is all evidence of the beaming. And this is real, folks. This is not a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. This is real. And what's happening is with this beaming and with the microwaving, it's heating up the atmosphere and heating up the earth. And it's heating the water, it's heating the earth. Look at all of this. That's all from beaming. And it's melting the permafrost, it's melting the sea ice, and we are being cooked alive. And if you can't understand that, you know, this channel's not for you. Look at this down here. This is all from today, just over here in the Mediterranean. I hadn't even looked this close before now, right over here. But like I said, once you zoom in and start looking, you can't stop. It's like, oh my God. And can they cause earthquakes? I don't see why not. Can they cause volcanoes? I don't see why not, because if it heats up water, it can heat up magma. And it's here, it is down here, so it just makes me think that the powers that be are terraforming the earth for their own reasons. Here's some more up here. It's all the way through. Oh, look up here. Here. It's all over the place. And just wait until they put 5G in everywhere. We've got mobile 5G here in Reno, and I'm suffering. I know I'm suffering because of that, because I've had symptoms that have come up since the 5G is rolled out that are just not going away. And I know I'm not going to survive it when they get them up on every house and every apartment, and the Internet of Things and all that. I'm not going to survive it. My DNA is unwinding. I can feel it, and I try and keep a brave face and a brave attitude, but there's no fighting this, and this is Satan. This is Satan, ramping up. So think what you want, but this is Satan. And now let's go to, had a couple of comments come in from yesterday. And then I want to show you some sulfur dioxide, and then we'll get right into the earthquake report. And this comment came in under my video from yesterday from Diadem Glow. She says, "Thanks, Margo. Sitting in bed trying to get my bad back rested and reading. Oh, you're really good at this tracking. Love your pictures, and I have to share that the wooden staff or walking stick reminds me of one I found in Colorado." And by the way, Diadem Glow, mine came from Colorado too. And she goes on, this word correct is making it hard to write anything. Very odd, and keeps jumping ahead of me and being a PIA, pain in the ass. AI at work. I guess I better be nice to it. Hope you're feeling well. Thanks again. Thank you, Diadem Glow. I appreciate your comments, and thank you for tuning in and being here. I really appreciate you. And then this comment came in under my continued methane tracking. This was from early December. And this is from Wall, and he's just saying, reporting on the paper that I reported on 2 days ago about Greenland. The Greenland ice sheet emits tons of methane, according to a new study showing that subglacial biological activity impacts the atmosphere far more than previously thought. Yep, I reported on that, and thank you for reporting on it again, Wall. I know not everybody sees all my videos, and so I guess he wasn't aware that I had already reported on that, but that's okay. And here's the link to the article. And so thank you, Wall, for sharing that again with us. So it's always appreciated for good information. And now, we still have that up. Over on CAMS, by the way, there's no methane data or carbon dioxide data at this point. There's nothing there. And this happened at the end of August, and I opened a support ticket and asked them about it, then they put it all up. I'm not doing it this time. Someone else can do that. Hold on. I'm just not going to be involved with CAMS. I don't care anymore. I mean, I do care, but someone else can pick up the gauntlet and go after them for information. I just know that things are bad and they're getting worse exponentially. Now, what I have up here is from CAMS. It's the PDF view of sulfur dioxide, but it's not at total column. This is at 850 HPA, which is about at 4,400 feet up from the surface. And here's our scale down here, and this is in parts per million. And what we can see is that the sulfur dioxide, wherever it's releasing from the surface, is going straight up in the atmosphere and it's going up pretty fast. Here it is from Hawaii, and it's concentrated even as it's going up in the atmosphere. Here it is from the volcanoes erupting in Mexico. Here it is from the United States. I'm not sure what that's from, but it's probably where it's coming across, or from industrial civilization. Here it is in Alaska. Here it is down in Africa. These couple of places. Look at down in South America. A lot of these places are where there are active volcanoes, either erupting or emitting, releasing stuff to the atmosphere. And look at China over here, and then the Middle East and these areas. So I found that interesting. And if you want a conversion table, a good conversion table from millibars to altitude, I will leave the link below. This is a spreadsheet, and it shows you can see it on the graph here. And here's the millibars, and here it is converted to feet. Here it is converted to meters, and I don't know what FL is. If someone knows, they can put that in there. Put it in the comments. And 1,000 millibars is about its surface level, and so 850 HPA. So as you're going up in the atmosphere, the HPA gets smaller. The altitude gets more, though. So 850 is about 4,779 feet, or 1,457 meters. So there's that. So there's your lesson for today, and I have Google Earth ready to go in case we want to look at that, at some of these locations. The earthquakes are picking up. Oh, and it is now 4:11 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. I have USGS pulled up, and they're showing 269 earthquakes of all magnitudes worldwide. And they don't register the smaller magnitudes outside of the U.S. regions. But there are a lot of smaller earthquakes happening around. But we've had huge activity, and it's still coming in. And I said, look for the eclipse to cause an uptick in everything. Here it is, USGS 1 day, 2.5 magnitude and higher. We have 50 earthquakes on the map. So let's go down here and make sure I don't miss any of the big ones. These were some that came in at the Virgin Islands late yesterday. Like it, well, it wasn't that late. I probably covered some of these in my report yesterday. 3.2 U.S. Virgin Islands, 2.7 Puerto Rico, and then look what happened. The next thing was up here in Alaska. Let me go to this other map so I don't leave any out. Right up here in the Aleutian Islands, we had 2 big earthquakes, a 4.0 and then a 5.1. And these were 62 kilometers south of Tanaga Volcano, Alaska. This 5.1 was 35 kilometers deep, and the 4.0 was 44 kilometers deep. There was not a tsunami created with that. Now, since we're up here, let's just go around. Let's go over here to Russia, off the coast of Russia. Remember, we saw a whole bunch up here. There was a big one a couple of weeks ago, a 7.0. There were two right in the same place, 4.6 and 4.6, off the coast of Kamchatka. That was all today. There was one over here at Japan, on the mainland of Japan. It was a 4.7, 33 kilometers southeast of Ichinoseki, Japan, 97 kilometers deep. Now, here's Fukushima down here. So, hopefully that was far enough away that that didn't cause any problems with Fukushima. Now let's come on down this ring of fire. Down. Now let's hit Indonesia. Here was a 5.1, 141 kilometers north-northeast of Tehran, Papua New Guinea, 390 kilometers deep. This happened last night. Then over here, we've had all of these, all in the same area. Let me get this, let me make sure that I get all of them down here. We have 12, all in the same area here. I'll start, there was a 6.6 that came in this morning at 9:27 Pacific time, 60 kilometers deep. When I saw that, it first came in at about I think it was a 7.0, and then it got downgraded to a 6.6. Then all of these aftershocks have happened in the same place: 4.7, 4.9, 4.4, 4.7, 5.1, 5.7, 4.7, 5.0, 4.9, 4.5, and 4.6, all in the same area, just since this morning. Until 12:30. So the first one was at about 9, so in 3 hours. In 3 hours, 12 came in. Now let's go to NASA Worldview and see if there's something weird going on over there. I looked earlier and I really didn't see anything. Here's Papua New Guinea. Well, okay, here's beaming. Look, we can see it. We can see the ripples right here going all there, and they're going different directions. Right over here. So let's see exactly where that is. Hold on. Okay. The earthquakes actually happened right up here in this area. I had to turn off the clouds. You can do that by clicking on blue marble. So it's been happening right here in this area. And because there were so many clouds, I couldn't really get oriented. So as far as beaming right over there, I can't really tell immediately right off the bat. But it doesn't have to be right where the earthquakes happened. We saw it over here to the east, over here, a lot of it over here to the east. So that could be causing the magma to heat up and move and cause the earthquakes, definitely. So you can look around yourself and do your own exploration and, get your own theory on this. So let's go back to our earthquakes now. Alright, so there were 12 there. Then, coming on over to the mainland, we've had a 4.2 at Ning'er, China, 15 kilometers deep. 4.3 east of Leh, India, 10 kilometers deep. Here's a big one, 5.0, 129 kilometers east of Arzak, China, 5.3 kilometers deep. We can zoom in on that. Here's one in Afghanistan, 4.3, that was 224 kilometers deep. And then over here was a 4.7 at Bandar Bushehr in Iran. See? Right here. On land, that was 10 kilometers deep. And then we've had 3 good-sized ones over here in Iran. This one was right over the border in Iraq, but they were all part of the same. There was a 5.6, 14 kilometers deep. This was 41 kilometers southwest of Sarpol-e-Zahab, Iran. Now, we saw something over here yesterday too, remember? Here's a 4.9 that was 10 kilometers deep, and then a 4.1 was 10 kilometers deep. So those were all today. Did we get all of those? Yes. All of those. Now let's go over to South America. Then we had one show up at southeast of Easter Island. It was a 4.9, 10 kilometers deep. That was last night. And then in South America, and we can see that this one, going back to this one at Easter Island, was right on a red line. This one, 4.8 at Coquimbo, Chile, 10 kilometers deep. 4.8 at Iquique, Chile, 106 kilometers deep. Then a 5.0 at Ayurviri, Peru, 31 kilometers deep. Now let's go up to Dominican Republic. They've had 15 here in the last 24 hours. And let's look on this map for the ones that are above 2.5 magnitude and higher. There were 9. The highest one, it looks like, was a 3.4 at Roetown, British Virgin Islands. Then 3.3 at Puerto Rico. 3.0, 3.0, and then the rest of them were under that. It's a total of 15 there. Okay, let's go to Hawaii now. Nine over here in the last 24 hours, all looks like on the mainland. 1.9, 2.4, 2, 2, 2, 1.9, 2.2, 2.4, and 1.7. So all right there on the mainland. Now let's go up to Alaska. They had a lot of activity up here. They had right here in this area, there was a 5.9 yesterday at 7:45 p.m. my time, and then a lot of aftershocks after that. We can see them stacked up there. So let's get them all on the map here. So there was a 5.0, then a 2.3, 2.2, 2.7, and 2.2. These were not very deep. Some were at 0 kilometers deep, some were 17 kilometers deep, and these were described as around 67 kilometers west-northwest of Tanana, Alaska. And the latest one was at 8:06 this morning, my time. Then up here was a 2.1 at Kuktovik. Then down here in the Gulf of Alaska, there was a 3.5 at Kodiak, or 265 kilometers southeast of Kodiak, 20 kilometers deep. Then there's a 2.0 and a 2.5 at Yakataga. And then the rest on the map are in the Anchorage area or dotted around, as you can see. And these were not large. The biggest ones were up at Tanana. These are more in the 1s and 2s, looks like. Right. But if we zoom in, here's the Anchorage area. 57 showing on the map here. Then here's this, see all these little red ones that have just come in. Let's look at those. These are at Talkeetna, 1.5, 1.7, 1.6, 2.0, 1.5, 1.6, and so forth, 1.5. So this area is getting active, it looks like. Okay, now let's go down to the United States and we'll finish this up. Let's start over here. Here's a 2.0 that happened at New Madrid, Missouri, 8.6 kilometers deep at 1:27 this morning. And as we know, this is part of the New Madrid seismic zone. And the way to turn on that hazard zone, you just go to your settings and we can see it's right there. And we've had one in this hazard zone every day for the last few days. And that was a 2.0. While we're here, 2.4 at Nickerson, Kansas. 2.9 Helena, Oklahoma. 2.4 at Blanchard, Oklahoma. And then up here at Yellowstone, there were 2 at Old Faithful Geysers, Wyoming. There was a 2.2 and a 2.8 at the same place. These were not very deep. This 2.8 was 7 kilometers deep, and the 2.2 was 9 kilometers deep. And both of these happened yesterday within 3 minutes of each other. Then there's one down here. Nope, that's just the dot for the city. Let's turn that hazard off. Okay, nothing in Washington, Oregon, Idaho that's showing up. Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. Now let's go to California and Nevada. Let's start with Northern California. 1.8 at Red Bluff at minus 0.5 kilometers deep. So we know that that's movement that's happening up in the mountain. Here's the geysers. Let's go there next. We've got 13. From under 1 to 2.1 is the highest, it looks like, at the geysers right here, this cluster. Now coming across, nothing else in Northern California or the Reno area. Carson City had a 0.6 at Johnson Lane, Nevada. That's near Carson City. Here's a little one in Carson City, a 0.3. So there's that. Coming on down. Looks pretty quiet today. Here's a 1.5 at Bridgeport, California. See what else is down here. 1.2 near Beatty. 1.5 Coso Junction. These are the usual spots. We're not seeing anything huge, but we are seeing, here's a 1.8 at Hawthorne. We are seeing them down here in the Nevada testing area, which could be underground nuclear testing or who knows what. We don't know what goes on down there. Here's a 2.4 at Johannesburg, California. We saw the Coso Junction. Here's a 0.9 Ridgecrest. Let's come back up. Okay. Coming down along this red line, which is the San Andreas Fault, 1.4 Los Banos, 1.5 San Juan Bautista, 2.1 Pinnacles, and 1.1 Parkfield. Coming on down, here's one right off the coast near Vandenberg Air Force Base. Now this one came in at 1 o'clock this morning. I was looking at this. This is interesting because it's out in the ocean, but it shows the depth at minus 0.2 kilometers deep. So I don't understand how that can be. How it can be, so minus 2, okay, because it's higher, so it's higher than the land. It's higher than the land, but it occurred in the ocean. So I don't know what that means. It's a mystery. If anyone has any ideas, you can put it in the comments. 1.2 Tehachapi. Oh, we saw that one. Now let's go down into Southern California and we'll finish this up. Here's a 2.0 at Puebla, Baja California. Remember, we saw some down here in this Gulf of California. None today. So that's calmed down a little bit. So in the Southern California area, on the map we have 52 showing. And if we zoom in, here's the Salton Sea. Here's the Kauai area where most of the earthquakes are gathering. So there's 46 in this viewing area. They're small, but the small ones count. The small ones definitely count. So we didn't see any quarry blasts today. We didn't see any explosions or chemical explosions or anything like that. And it's Sunday, so a lot of those construction workers are taking off, so we'll probably see the quarry blasts ramp back up tomorrow. So let's zoom out and see if anything came in. Okay, it looks like there was a 4.2 at Shongu, Japan that happened at 4:06 p.m. Sometimes they don't get on the map until a little bit later. 470 kilometers deep, because that was not on the map earlier. Let's see where that is. Okay, that's out in the ocean, south of Japan, and it's on that red line. Let's see what else happened. We had another one up here. At the Aleutian Islands, where we had that big one. It was a 1.9, so they're still having aftershocks. Let's see what else. We saw that. The rest of them are small ones up in Alaska or in California. We saw that. Leh, India. That came in at 3:10 p.m. today, so that was already on there. Okay. So, we'll wrap it up for today. I hope everyone has a nice weekend, what's left of it, and be safe. And just in case anyone wants to know why I'm doing these earthquake reports, is because I think time is so short, and this is a way that we can keep an eye on the pulse of Mother Earth and see that things are speeding up. The train has left the station, and I think we're going to see things ramping up more and more and more. So this is just for us to see how fast things are happening, and for an opportunity for me to also say, because we are so close to the end, I do believe that you need to get your spiritual house in order. Get ready to exit the planet. I don't know what form it's going to take. I don't know the day or the hour. I just know that a lot of people won't have time to make a choice. You better make your choice now which side you're going to be on. Just get your spiritual house in order. And I love all of you, and God bless you, and go in peace, and I will talk to you real soon. Good night.